let's get going.
Yeah, Kirk, it's always those little conversations before the call that are the best ones. But that one about being a kid and getting the military haircut with your
Yeah,
dad, that's one we might have to circle back to. So, hey
yeah,
everybody, welcome back to another great podcast. And I am so blessed and so happy to see my friend, Mr. Kirk DeShettle, and he is back. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk terahertz wands. And for anybody out there that needs a little bit of memory recall, Kirk, we did a podcast. I think it's been about 2 years ago, maybe just over 2 years.
yes.
And
And
the story was that, we had spoke a few times and I'd gotten you a terahertz wand. You got the 7.0, which we're gonna, yeah, still got it. I love it. And, you were super happy, got great results with it. And we went on this call. And the first call, if anybody's out there wants to watch it, I'll put the link down. And you started talking about the benefits and how that thing had helped you. And I don't know if
correct.
you remember the phone call, but I remember it quite clearly because it broke me down into tears. Like I literally started crying on the call. And it was a story about how you were in so much pain that you wanted to basically shoot yourself
Oh yeah.
and you couldn't get it took you like 40 minutes to get your shoes and socks on. I'm even going to backtrack. And Kirk, you're a miraculous person, a true child of God, but you've got muscular dystrophy and you've overcome that. Is that and you've been and as I remember, you do a lot of biking, you stay very active. You've been hit on your bike at least, I want to say 3 times, maybe more. But through the years of biking and having these accidents, it's not only, been extremely painful, but it's added on to the additional things that you've had to deal with in life. But
Right.
I don't mean to just jump right into this call and go right to that story, but I was like, honestly, man, it took me back so much because I thought to myself, man, I'm doing this and I'm getting technology out to people, but I really have no idea how sometimes this is impacting somebody's life. And of all the people that I've talked to over the years, and we're at over 400 videos now, I will never forget that moment. And I think that even to this day, man, that's still to me one of the most grateful and appreciative. And I mean, there's just so many emotions, and I'm going to try as hard as I can not to cry in this call, but I can't say I won't, man, because I just love you as who you are as a person and, for everything that you do. And, we were able to talk a little bit before the call and catch up. But with all that being said, man, thank you so much for your time today. Welcome back, and how you doing?
Thank you so much, Sean. It's good to be back. And yeah, it's as you were saying, it's my life has been it's been a battle since I was just a child. And besides the muscular dystrophy, it's multiple injuries, being run over twice, and having doctors tell me I'm not going to walk again, having my arm cut in half, tell me I can't use that anymore, and but just like it's just the hard headedness of myself and not wanting to accept the fact that I can't do something, and through all those years of having to live with so much pain, it makes life very difficult. And that pushed me to not listen to doctors. Okay. And I don't want to talk bad about doctors, but for most of my life, most of the doctors I went to, uh, and I mean, in my life, it was most of them were specialists because I didn't have just normal injuries. I had broken bones, uh, major bones that had to be cut and fused together, pinned together, and set specifically. I had nerve disorders that took specialists to figure out what problems were with in neurology. And so I started studying on my own the same technology and research they were doing. And I learned through the research, and I started studying pharmaceuticals when I was only 12 years old to help my mother through nursing school. And that's where I learned pharmaceuticals. And then when my muscular dystrophy kicked in, I started studying nutrition and homeopathic medicine and exercise because I didn't want to listen to the doctors telling me, which they were. We'd go to these muscular dystrophy clinics, and they were open clinics to the public. And anyone with muscular dystrophy would get like a newsletter from the Muscular Dystrophy Organization. And they would tell you about the current research on your disorder. And for the most part, it was all negative. They were just trying to explain to you that this is what you have, it's affecting your DNA, and it's destroying your nerve tissue, and pretty soon you're going to be crippled. And they always tell you there's nothing you do about it. You just have to accept it. And I was I was always the individual that wouldn't accept it, you know. And studying nutrition, that that brought me to just keep doing my research. And from there, I started going through physical therapy for the injuries. And I guess back in the 80s, the early 80s, they had this infrared technology that they came out with where I go to physical rehab, and they'd lay you on a table, and you'd have a light under you and a light on top of you going running across your body, and it would emit infrared heat and light into the body tissue, and it penetrates infrared, the deep infrared and near infrared penetrate not just flesh but go into the bone marrow and cause cell healing. And that, so I started studying that technology. And I was talking to my first physical therapist about, and they had something like this way back then. It was much bigger. And back then, these units were like $5,000 a piece. And the beds were $15,000 a piece. And it wasn't much of a bed, it was more like a mat you laid on. And so that brought me to keep doing the research on the technology. And that's when I ran into your company. Doing the research, I found you on the internet at usamedbed.com.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all, that's where I found this great piece of technology, the Terahertz Wand. Now, and that's, I had studied that before, but as I said, back then, you had to go to a special facility to get treatment. And back then, they only had maybe, I think, one facility here in my city in Lafayette where I would go. And so I kept wanting the technology. And over the years, your company, or this company, USA MedBed, came out with developing these wands. And now that y'all make some that are shorter than this too, though. And this this thing right here, it has different levels of penetrating. You have a high fan with high heat. You have a high fan with low heat, and you have a low fan with high heat. And it penetrates your tissue so well for me, it doesn't help just like your muscles and aches. What you was teaching about the terahertz technology, they've placed inside of the unit, they have placed quartz crystals and other crystal and minerals crushed so that the light, when it turns on, the light penetrates through the crystals and the heat, and it generates this wonderful magnetic energy that goes into the body. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's just like a magnet that we develop. It works on the same technology. When you put heat and light energy through crystals, like your quartz crystals, amethyst, and other crystals, they release a terahertz energy and magnetic energy that penetrates your body. Your body produces its own magnetic energy. And when you're injured, your cell tissues, your nerve tissues generate negative and positive ions within the cell to help you deal with that injury and the pain. And once you're injured, your negative ions will build up so high, or your positive, that it causes swelling and intense pain, and it reduces blood circulation and oxygen into the tissue, which will slow down your healing. And I use this on my injuries. I use it on all over my body to relieve nerve pain, muscle pain, and it's like my feet. The surgeries I've had on my feet for muscular dystrophy, and then the injuries after getting run over. Uh, I've had a nerve tissue cut in my foot, just a very small cut into the nerve tissue. And from that point on, with muscular dystrophy, if I cut a nerve tissue with the muscular dystrophy I have, the nerve tissue doesn't heal, and it causes intense pain all the time. So, like my right foot, uh, it has, or no, it's my left foot. I'm sorry. It has intense pain that is literally like me sticking my foot into a red hot coal of a red hot pot of charcoal, and it just burns like it's on fire. And the only thing that I've found to be able to stop that pain is using this wand, and that's it. This is the only thing that will take that pain away. And it's like I use this almost every day. And I started learning from you. I started using it more recently for trying to get some of my hair to grow back, uh, which is, and it helps. Like I use it, I blow the wand on my, around my sinus cavity for my teeth and jaws. Because I've had, after the bike wrecks, it's broken a lot of my teeth. And I just use it for making sure tissue stays healed. And it's great for like um, using for on cancer. I'm not making a medical claim, but I've used it on like my mother having small cancer tissue, and using this, um, it seems to destroy the cancer cell and kill the cancer cell, and the tissue healed, and she doesn't have a scar. So I think that was great too, and it increases circulation of your blood, and now you have much more, like many more like this that are more powerful. I was looking at
We
your
just got these
website
new
just
ones in.
recently. Yeah,
This is the one you have, and then you can see that
right.
they're coming out with new generations. This one here that you've got, and you got it right when it came out, I would say is a Gen 2, second
Gen 2.
generation. Now there's Gen 3, and we've got two or three different quote unquote Gen 3 models. But
Yes.
but the technology, is still the primary technology really hasn't changed. I think the size, maybe the power output has, but
I,
yeah, but I'm super, super happy that that thing is still going strong for you.
oh,
Um,
it's cool. Yeah, and I like your new technologies for like your uh, something, not to change the subject, but your grounding technology. That's what I'm teaching people here now more and more about buying these grounding sheets, because people don't understand that every device you have, when you plug this into the wall, let's see, when you plug a device into a wall, it has a built-in ground circuit. So when you plug it into the wall, it won't shock you. And if it wasn't grounded, it would shock you. Everything that's electronic. Your body is the same way. It needs to be grounded to the earth in order to relieve, to heal.
Hmm.
And we walk around with shoes all day and take our shoes off when we get home, but we're not touching the earth. We're touching a floor.
Right.
So I'm starting to teach people about uh, using your new sheets that you have. You'll have pads also that look like very big, large towels that you can put in your chair,
Yep.
like where you sit in your living room or on your couch.
Hmm.
And you can sit on this sheet and it grounds the body. And immediate, as soon as your body is grounded, your body begins to heal. Your
Hmm.
circulation in your cells increase. They start pushing toxins and metals out of the cell and increase and absorb water and CO2. The grounding is one of the most important things that people need to start learning. I don't know if you have any pictures or a sheet nearby that you could show
I'm actually
someone.
texting Abby to grab me a grounding sheet. She's in the other room. Just a
Yeah,
sec.
because the grounding sheet is one of the most important things everyone can do that's affordable. And just grounding is going to help you sleep better. It's going to help your energy, your especially for mental and emotional stress. As soon as you start grounding, your body, your balance, you have, as I said, in your cells, you have positive and negative ions.
Grab one of those
And
right.
when you're not ever grounding, your your negative ions and your positive ions aren't in equilibrium,
Hmm.
and your body can't heal good. It can't function good. You always have some kind of inflammation within the body.
Hmm.
So as soon as the body's grounding, it starts working and releasing the negative ions and or the positive ions that are too much,
Yeah.
and it brings it to an equilibrium,
Yeah.
and it calms the body down. That's like it, I'll go like when I'm outside, I love to go put my feet in the dirt, and as soon as my feet touch that dirt, you feel
Kirk,
this. Yeah, there's one.
you
Show
got
me
a
that.
chance to say hi to Abby.
Hi, Abby. There you are. I saw you
She's
on
the
the
gal
cover of the
behind the
video.
scenes. And while you were talking, I'm like, Abby, grab me a grounding sheet so I can show it. And this is the grounding sheet right here. And I'm going to put it up to the camera because it's important that people see that 40% of the surface of this is actually coiled silver. And you can see all the strands. Hopefully, you can kind of see them all in there. And the reason it's coiled is so that when the fabric is doing this, it's not breaking the strands. It's fluxing, stretching, and
It's
that way it
effective.
lasts, for years. Like some of the grounding tech, I've had it now for 3 years or more, and it's been washed more than dozen times, and it's still working just fine. But there's a lot of technology out there. When you get it, you can't see any natural raw material in it at all. And they do say it's grounding, and I'm sure it is. But it's we're kind of in a world where you get what you pay for. And the other thing about this, Kirk, is that it's double seamed, but on the inside, there's a mixture of amethyst, tourmaline, and other crystal that when your body
Yes.
makes contact with it, releases far infrared light. And so you're getting the red light technology and you're getting the grounding. And as you expertly said, because you know this stuff very well, the minute you're touching that, you're absorbing electrons and neutralizing free radicals and thus
Right.
reducing inflammation. And so the minute that we became disconnected from the earth, running around wearing tennis shoes with rubber soles, it's been an exponential rise of health related disease. And one statistic that I ran across, which I think you'd be interested to hear, is that according to the World Health Organization, more than 80% of the people that die on the planet die from something related to inflammation.
Information.
And so when
Yeah.
you're grounded, number one, first thing it does, it restores your blood back to its normal viscosity, because when your body's short on
Mm.
electrons, one of the first things that gets compromised is the molecular structures, the cell wall of the red blood cell. And those cells start clumping and clotting, and then it puts pressure on the heart. And then like I've said before, it's like running dirty motor oil through a car, except this is your blood and it's dirty and it's clumping and now you're more susceptible to anything that's related to that. But there we could sit and have a whole call literally on just the benefits of grounding. But it's interesting because even though we've got a lot of really cool technology, it's the core basics, which is the grounding technology, the terahertz wand, and maybe one or two other items that are and always have been our ultimate best sellers. And ultimately, Kirk, I think that they deliver the greatest amount of value for the least amount of money. That to me
Yeah.
is the other thing. It's like, look, if you're just in a lower income bracket and you don't have, thousands of dollars to spend, which is, quite you know, quite the norm, even, but you don't need to. You can get a couple things here for less than $500 that are going to provide value. And here we are 2.5 years later, and you're still using that terahertz wand. And, that's really a miraculous story. And Kirk, I hate to do this to you, but I have to, because like I said, this was one of the most emotional stories that I've ever heard in my life. And you hit me with it out of the blue because I had no idea before we started the call how bad and how much pain you were in. But is it possible to just, we don't have to get too deep into it, but talk about how bad it was and how close you were to just saying, I just can't keep going?
Oh, yeah. My pain level was so extreme that uh, it, I went through a year of such severe pain. I couldn't even I couldn't even sit down or bend over to touch my feet while I was sitting, and to put clothes on, to pick one foot up at a time, to be able to put your foot through your pants and
Mhm.
pull it up was it was literally like somebody stabbing me in the back, and not just the stabbing pain, but or like a crushing pain, where it felt like I had almost like felt like a truck parked on my back, and the nerve pain was a constant burning, like somebody's got a red hot charcoal and just shoved it onto your spine or onto your feet, and it came to the point where I had so much pain, and the doctors just kept telling me the same thing. Well, you just got to live with it. There's nothing you can do. And I didn't want to accept that. So I kept doing my research. And I hadn't quite found the research on, well, I found the research, but the availability of the technology then wasn't available to individuals on a personal scale. It was only to commercial organizations as doctors and research facilities and uh, physical therapy organizations. So individuals could get a hold of this technology. And even when I had a chance, it was way out of my reach. Uh, and But the pain was so bad. I can remember it took me probably one morning close to an hour to get just to get my pants on. And I had already taken two morphine tablets that the doctor had given me for pain. And he told me that, he warned me, this is very strong. You can only take one and just lay down and go to bed. And I was in so much pain, I took one and I was still walking around my house, and in full function, even though I couldn't walk good. But after taking two of these pain pills, I would still go to work. I was in so much pain that, and the doctor told me when I told him I was taking two, he's like, "Good gods, man, that's too dangerous. That's strong enough to knock a horse out." And but it wouldn't affect me that much. And it literally came to the point where this one morning I got up, like I said, after about an hour getting dressed, um, I made up my mind that I couldn't take it no more. And I had the gun in my hand, and I was heading to the barn in the back. We had a nice pasture with a barn in the back, and I was still doing planting fruit trees and berries and stuff like that. And the Lord told me, He literally spoke to me and said, "Not yet." I heard that voice, so I said, "Okay," and I went and started doing more research and just put it off, and eventually have to live with so much pain. It comes to a point where, and it's sad though, because a lot of people end up, taking their life because they can't take this pain. And I think it is so beneficial now that we have this technology now. And I can't thank you enough, Sean, for what you're doing on your end to let people know. And even at your facility, you invite people every day, if they want to make an appointment, call you and see about making an appointment to come in and test this technology and even have for free treatment. I think that is outstanding. And uh, I just want to thank you for sharing this type of technology to help us. And I encourage anyone who's watching this video, please call Sean. They have so much stuff to help you, like the wands, these wands. If you can't afford the full size, to make a smaller, affordable one, they'll have some like around like $290 or $300, right, Sean?
I just had a lady today who I, I just had a lady today that asked if she could make payments, right? And I said, yeah, you can make payments. And she said, well, I'd like to make payments of like 35 or $40 a month because I'm on Social Security. And I said, no problem. Let me get the phone. And Abby, that's why I like to get the girls in here. I said, Abby, no problem. She'll take down all your information and we're
Yes.
sending her one at no charge. Because
Oh,
I'm not taking people's money like that. And that lady was, she was an elderly person, and
right.
I'm putting that out there, not really, but it's to me, the reason I did this, Kirk, the reason I got into all this is for the one story. Now, here it is 2.5 years later, there's hundreds, if not more stories. But when I heard that first call, we did that first call, and I literally broke down in tears. And I'm just thinking about it. It's hard not to do it again. But I thought, you know what? I took so much risk. For anybody that's out there that doesn't know the story, I walked away from a very big company that I was a partner in. And I felt like my heart and my soul was taking me in another direction. And I'm still in the medical industry. I'm still doing medical equipment. I mean, if you look over here, I've still got a lot of the ICU beds, and we still do a lot of that. But the goal for me was to be able to get myself into the wellness space where I could start getting access to this technology and start getting it out to people like you. And I knew that at that minute when we had that last call, and we've talked a couple times in between, but this is our second one, but I knew I made the right choice, and that one call, I said, man, if I did one thing right in my life, even if I dropped over dead tomorrow, I'll have known that I at least helped Kirk out
Yeah.
and help give him back that smile and get him out of that pain. And to Kirk, and if you could, I mean,
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it, but if you could, I know like when you first started using it and everything that you're saying was the coals, the hot rod poker, like the fire. I remember when you were describing the pain, it was like fire. But can you tell and go back to kind of what it was like when you were able to, when you first got it and how it kind of tuned
Yeah.
the pain down? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Right. Right. Yes, Sean. When we had our first meeting before I actually got to buy it, I called you personally, and we did a little video call, not live, but uh, just so you could show me the technology and show me what it was, and you explained it to me, and I was very confident about the equipment, but the pain I have is so severe that, and I have been through so much physical therapy for so over 40 years that, and most of it is very, very temporary. And so when I actually got my hands on this and I started using this on my feet, and like I said, I'll use pain rub, ice bath for pain, and that'll last for an hour. And when I first tried this, the very first time, um, I was actually shocked at how well it took the pain away because it seemed to not help very much while I was doing it, but I think that's because it's in the process of stabilizing the ions of the cell and pushing circulation through the cells and increasing oxygen and blood flow. But it's when I actually turn it off and just sit still for a minute and realize that the pain was gone, that I just couldn't believe it, you know, to have that, not to have that stabbing, burning feeling in your feet that my feet hurt when it starts burning. It burns so bad, I have to literally put my feet up on and have it sticking kind of off of a bench or my footstool to where it can't even touch anything. To literally just take my finger and touch my foot is like taking a hot nail and shoving it into my foot. And this literally takes that pain away. And that's why I recommend this to especially people that have bone injury and nerve injuries, or have someone that has had deep cuts, you know, from injuries or surgeries that have permanent scar tissue. And that's something I want you to talk about, is that this actually will help break apart if you use it every day. It will help uh, break down scar tissue internally, which is, I think that's what it's doing with me too, because I used to wear on my feet where I have had foot surgeries, and there's a lot of scar tissue, and this helps a lot with that. It's reducing the swelling. And you told me too that when you use these products, especially the Terahertz Wand, please try to drink a good purified water about 30 minutes before you start using this. Because when you use this, the energy that's going into your body and into your cells while you use this will create detoxification, and your cells will actually lose moisture. And you need to have ample fluid into your body before you start using this so that you lose. Can you hold on for me, Sean?
Good, brother.
I'll be, I've got somebody knocking on the door. Give
Oh,
me a
you're fine.
second.
Actually, I'm going to talk real quick about the water while you're gone. But the
Okay.
thing
Yeah,
about
explain about,
yeah, I'll explain how it works with the water while you get the door if you need to go grab the door. But basically, when you wand the water and
okay,
you point the light into the water, and you want to do it for probably 30 seconds to a minute, what it does is it declusters the water molecules. So water has a tendency to cluster and clump, and when you use the wand, what it does is it breaks up the water molecules from clustering. It lines them up in a linear fashion, and they get directly absorbed into the cell. And so now you have a charged water molecule, but you're getting a higher level of hydration also, because when you break up the clustering of the water molecule and the water gets directly into the cell, now you're getting a higher level of hydration. And now when you use the wand, you actually get a better effect. Now, Kirk, you're one of my, early followers here. I mean, there's a couple dozen people. I mean, we're at over 13,000 subscribers now, but there's a guy named Daniel Gouliet who's based out of Montreal. And what he did is he started charging the water. He put it in a spray bottle, and then he would spray it on his head and then use the wand. And he
right.
has a lot of hair. I mean, like, and we did it over like 90, 120 days where his wife would be giggling. She's like, "Oh, you got sprouts." And then there's actual real hair. and there hadn't been anything there at all for over 10 years. And I think what's interesting is that, the wand does have red light also, and you can't see it because the blue light, and not only that, but you only see about 7% of the light spectrum anyway, so it's not like we see all light bands,
Yeah.
um, but the red light technology has gotten a lot of FDA clearance, and there's a lot of data showing that it stimulates hair follicles. Now you throw in the magnetism, the quartz crystal, and the other technology in there, and it's you're bundling multiple technologies and focusing that energy into a very small area. So those are some other things that I've learned, but I learned a lot from people like yourself. I remember when we first spoke that you had done so much research. I'm like, wow, I'm actually learning stuff that I didn't even know. This is awesome. I need to take notes because you really did do a lot of research on the product. And so for
Yeah, that's
me,
something.
I learn a lot from people like you. All the people, we've sold thousands of these, but all the people, use them a little differently, use them for different things, but they come up with very creative ideas and things that I learned from. So I love sharing that knowledge.
Yes, actually, you reminded me. I had forgot about using use it on the water, but I forgot about using it on the water, then using it on my hair. So I got to start doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And if
I
you're
wouldn't
doing
mind a
stuff
little hair.
Yeah, if you're doing stuff with the skin, um, there's been a lot of feedback, a lot of reports, a lot of testimonials on psoriasis, eczema, different skin issues where, you use it and it helps knock that down. But
Yeah,
adding the charge, the water, but the main thing, like with anything, is just try to get the best possible result for the time that you're using it. And I've always told people that it's more about consistency of use more so than time of use. Obviously, a lot of people want to know how long here and there. What would your feedback be in regards to that?
yes, and I recommend it. Like you said, it's when you have this technology, and it's got to be consistent. Just like you're coming out of surgery for a foot surgery or a broken arm, it's going to take months to heal, and you can't just get up and go do what you want to do no more. You have to gradually get back into it at a slower pace, but you have to be consistent. That's just like after foot surgeries, you have to go to physical therapy 3 times a week for 6 months, and that's every day. So that's something you have to do with this technology also is be patient and let it work with your body because every person is different. You have some of us have more pain, more swelling, some of us have cancers, and your body's going to take either longer or quicker to respond to it.
Mm,
And as you said, to consist, the key is consistency to help your body heal properly and
mhm,
to use the technology to where it's you as long as you're using it at least once a day and you stay with the method, your body's going to continue to improve. Uh, that's just like for years after foot surgeries, I was recommended to wear special orthopedics shoes, and they were much more comfortable. And but you had to use it, continually to get proper therapy. And that's what happens with this technology is you've got to be consistent and be patient and try to remember the methods of drinking water and not just tap water. Most tap waters are very highly toxic unless you
yeah.
have tap water in the country that's coming out of the ground well. So use filtered water. I don't recommend buying bottled water because that's just a joke. You're not getting true clean water. Um, buy, buy yourself a good high quality ceramic filter and charcoal filter or a UV filter, and drink plenty of water that your body can detoxify. And that's also going to help with the internal inflammation and swelling.
Yeah.
But stay with the using whether it's the wand and the grounding sheets, uh, consistency.
Yeah.
Always stay consistent for the proper benefits. Just like, for years I was on pain medicine, and that was the only results I had for any type of relief of my pain. But um, I was very strict about using it because I grew up studying pharmaceuticals, and I just don't like the toxicity of pharmaceuticals. They're giving you something to negate pains, but it's just poison to your body. And it's like for I've had friends that I've recommended this type of wand to, and your grounding sheet for cancer, to treat their cancer, internal cancer, whether it's thyroid cancer, uh, ovarian cancers, or stomach cancers, even brain cancers. I think this thing is phenomenal for that, because this can penetrate bone tissue. Okay, and I highly recommend this. And I also would recommend people to please call Sean. I don't know if you have any of I would like to talk about the terahertz, I mean, the Tesla coils. Uh, Something I recommend to people today. Everyone has a cell phone, everyone's got a computer. Um, I want to try to hit on that for a moment, because your cell phone and your computer puts out microwave energy waves that penetrate through timber, through bricks, and this technology is highly radioactive, and this soaks into your tissue, and
Mhm.
it causes cancers. People get brain cancers, ovarian cancers, thyroid cancers, liver cancers, and at young ages, and they don't know why. The doctors can't figure out why. It's because of all these phone cells, the cell towers we have everywhere, and the cell phones and computers everywhere. So we're living in a very toxic environment. And the Tesla coils, you have one that is a smaller unit. It's kind of round, and it has something that looks like a CD that you put on it,
Yeah.
and it pushes this through the light, through the crystals, and the quartz crystals and amethyst and other crystals, and it pushes out a magnetic energy that negates the radiation from your computer and your cell phone. And it's very, very powerful for detoxifying your home. And I highly recommend this. It's not very expensive, especially for people who have families with children. All these children walk around with these little laptops and computers in their hands all day long, and they're walking around the house with the computer in this room, a computer in that room. And I didn't do it personally. I've had friends that have and you can buy one for about $150. It's a gamma meter that measures live active radiation. And he turned it on in his house with one computer in the living room, which was about 10 feet away from him. And they literally had enough live radiation, magnetic waves flowing through the air, that was equivalent enough to kill a human being. And your body's absorbing this tissue all day long. I mean, this energy all day long. So I highly recommend trying to get in touch with you, Sean, at your facility, and looking up this Tesla coils
The Tesla
to,
coils, Tesla panels. And Kirk,
yes,
one thing I see a lot is people running around with cell phones in their pockets.
in the pocket.
I see that all the time, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I I don't want to single out women, Bert, but I see a lot of girls, younger women, that have them in their
All
back
day,
pockets. And
all
a friend
day.
of mine was putting it in her breast pocket in her shirt, and I said, "Get that out of there immediately." That is, I mean,
Hold
like,
on. I'll be back. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking, Sean.
Yeah, but I mean, it's bad enough being in the room with some of that technology, but when you have it right on your body, one of the things that I do is I wrap up my cell phones in a X-ray vest. So when I'm at night and they're in the bedroom, I wrap them up in an X-ray vest. I can still get a signal, and you can still, you know, talk if you need to get an emergency call, but I was just saying, Kirk, I wrap up my phones in an X-ray vest at night. So even though they're in my room, I'm not, like having them next to your body while you sleep is absolutely horrible. And so
It's
many
horrible.
people, and they say, well, and they're within a foot of their head or even 2 or 3 feet within their body, and that's just, I'm sorry, no, the paddles, the little ones on the massage table, and that is just absolutely not any good at all. And we've talked about a few things. I do have to just throw a general disclaimer out there about the terahertz wands, is that they are not classified as medical devices, and we're not making any claims about
Right.
anything. This is Kirk's story, and that's why I love the stories. This is personal feedback from what you've seen
This is
using the technology. So we don't make any claims that anybody will get the bigger ones. That's fine. Those are good. Those are fine. We have some bigger ones. The green, oh, they are. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Here's some of the different types of Tesla coils, but we have bigger ones. They're plugged in right now. And as you know, we have people coming in to use this stuff all the time. These are actually some of the newer ones. These Tesla coils right here have a front and back. And so you put one in one side, one on the other. So if it was bad back, bad shoulder, you'd put one on one side, one on the other. They send a signal, and in the middle, they create an energy field. And that energy field becomes like a little mini, yeah. And so it's really good for anything. The only thing you don't put it on is both sides of your brain, although I could probably put on both sides of mine. Oh, Abigail is the best. I mean, these are some of the paddles right here, the Tesla paddles, and they're different energy patterns. Like you said, you put them right on the body, and I mean, but the beautiful part about this, Kirk, is this is Tesla technology. This is PEMF. So if you really need to
right.
focus some energy in a really tough spot, you've got that. But these little paddle kits, and the interesting thing is with these is that they're over 100 years old. They can almost be referred to as an oscillator, and that was one of the first technologies that Tesla patented back in 1902,
Right.
which is
Yes. The
amazing. Um,
yeah.
but go ahead.
It's as you said, we're not making medical claims, but the proof is there. It works, and it's like if you watch educational channels, even YouTube now has so many very good educational videos, uh, like where they're. I watch a lot of the research on the the nature videos, and they're using special satellites to, as they go hover across the Earth, to scan magnetic energy, radiation energy,
Mhm,
and when they find these high currents coming out of the Earth, when they start digging down inside, they come upon these layers of 1 to 2 to 6 foot deep crystal pads
mhm,
of layers of crystals like amethyst crystals, quartz crystals,
mhm,
and other type of crystals that generate magnetic energy. And
mhm.
this energy is very, very good energy. And that's like years ago when they came out with the first uh, battery watch with no battery. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
The batteryless watch. The what makes that watch run continually is quartz crystals. The quartz crystal, it's just very small pieces of crushed quartz within the watch in a circular pattern, and it generates its own electricity and runs a watch. So they took that same technology, as you said, it's been around for more than 100 years, and but it was very limited. Now it's very accessible, and it's like just holding. You can buy quartz, you can buy amethyst pieces of crystal, and the people like these people who sell the crystals, they will tell you just holding these crystals in your hand, like the amethyst. It's a dark crystal. It has a positive charge within it, but its unique its unique energy is that while you're holding it like this, yes, beautiful amethyst. As you hold this crystal, it pulls negative energy out of your tissue that causes depression, anger, and confusion, and high blood pressure. It literally pulls that energy out, and that's a simple crystal. But these crystals, when they take stuff like this and they put them in the Tesla coils and these types of wands, and you use this on your body, you're getting that energy put directly into your body, and that allows your body to heal. That's just like I said, we were talking about the grounding. Once you ground yourself on the earth or on like a grounding sheet, it it helps your body. And like you said, you're getting back to the grounding sheets. It's not, you have silver material and I think you said platinum maybe.
Yeah, so it's got the I think Abby grabbed it, but it's got a culmination of amethyst, tourmaline, other crystal that when your body touches it, releases infrared light. So you're getting the red light and the grounding simultaneously. And
Yes,
then there's just
because
a whole host of benefits that go with that as well, like you know.
right, when your body generates its own electricity, and when you have negative charges in your body, when you lay on that sheet or sit on that sheet, it generates its own electricity and its own magnetic energy. And if you're negative, it's going to pull a positive charge from that sheet into your body and allow you to heal. And it's like I saw your a video with you just the other day, and uh, for the hat that you
Yeah,
had,
the
which
hat,
I
yeah,
thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
the
and
red light hat.
yeah, and it's like the even just wearing a hat like that to stimulate hair growth, but at the same time, it's you're stimulating nerve tissue
Yeah,
within the upper skull,
yeah.
which is great for helping your nerve tissue and
Hmm.
circulation. I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, they're
But
actually
and
saying as well that it might help with cognitive function.
right, exactly. It helps just clear the thought patterns, the thinking, and it keeps the person calmer. So and I think that's great. So
So, Kirk,
yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about to finish up the call today. I'd like to talk about um, as somebody that has muscular dystrophy and somebody that has overcome a massive amount and proven everybody wrong and has still been able to do a lot that they said that you would never do. What would you say to somebody today that's out there? And this isn't just related to the technology. This is related to your thought process, your nutritional background. What would you say to somebody that's out there that's going to some of those clinics like the ones you went to as a kid that said this is all you can do? What would you say to them as far as ways that you can, you know, extend and do things beyond what the normal person might say you can't? What advice would you give out to somebody?
yeah, a great touch on that. Thanks, Sean, for bringing that up. And I do that. I recommend to my friends through church and outreaches that please don't accept the your one doctor or even two doctors or three doctors that say that you just have to accept this and there's nothing you can do. Do your own research, and that's where most of the people fail now is they don't get up and do their own research. And they're used to having a doctor tell them, well, this is what you need to do. And, and, not like I said, I'm not trying to talk negative about my doctors, but for the most part, for me, it was always the same thing, just trying to tell me that I have to live with it and accept it. And there's nothing you can do. Uh, if you can't take, and if you live with pain or cancer or disability, don't accept someone telling you that you can't do this or you have to live with that situation. It's up to you. It's your body, it's your life. If you're tired of the pain, if you're tired of the depression or any problem you're going through, um, pray about it first. Seek God with all your heart first and ask God through the Holy Spirit to guide you, and He will help you. And, and from that point, start doing research on your subject, whether it's cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, or nerve disorders like I have, like muscular dystrophy, where they just tell people you have to accept this and live with it. I didn't accept it, and I learned from myself through the Holy Spirit guiding me, through God Himself. He taught me so much. As a matter of fact, within 20 years, I actually knew just as much, and probably by the time I was 35 years old, I knew more than my neurologist, who had been doing neurology for over 44 years. And and I had only been doing it for like my own research for about 15 years, but I wouldn't stop. And I did not accept the 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 advice of doctors telling me that you can't do something. Uh, have faith in yourself and have faith in God that He will show you the truth. He will help you. So don't give up. Make sure you don't give up. And with that being said, I highly recommend that y'all, for benefits of a lot of different technologies, from either whether it's the Terahertz Wand or the grounding sheets or the Tesla coils, which I recommend. I highly recommend Tesla coils for the people with children in their families, in their homes, to protect them from the output radiation of your computers and your cell phones. Give Sean a call. Go down and see him if you're on the East Coast, uh, or just call him and check. Please check out their website too at usamedbed.com. They have so much stuff there. And before we end that too, I'd like to talk about also. I wanted to talk about that. Um, the copper coiling benefits of that, where you can use copper coils, whether it's bracelets or copper coil products like this. Yes, show them.
And I've got the
This,
bracelets and but these right here also mitigate EMF in the room and in the house. But what this does is this takes the power of the crystal, the inner circle amplifies it, and then the outer circle sends it out in all directions in about 50 feet around. And the power of copper and in these sort of sacred geometry type formats is very, very powerful. And Walter Russell and others back in the 1930s discovered this. And one of the first things that they figured out that is when you create these energy fields, the agricultural crops grow about 20% faster and stronger minimum. And so then they figured out if it's good for the plants, it's good for the humans. And, like with anything, but this whole thing, the way it's constructed, if you look, it's all triangles and different shapes, but it's the way that they do this using, and it's twisted copper too, by the way, so that it's a coil, but these are all handmade. And we do have these on the website. I think we've got these. These are the newest, made by the same person, and it amplifies the way the circle is going. It amplifies the power of amethyst. You can use amethyst or jade. And then they're also making a necklace which I'm not sure if you can see that, but this is also another
Yeah.
sort of sacred geometry type shape here that also creates a little field around you to protect you from EMF around the body. So the copper is a big deal. And then, of course, I got the other side here. I'm wearing a copper bracelet as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's a great point. It's a very powerful material in many different ways. It's also antimicrobial. So anything that
Right.
touches it is basically killed. We were part of a big study where they figured out that if you could copper coat a hospital bed rail, you could reduce infectious disease outbreaks by up to 30-40% in the hospital because they
Right.
figured out that a lot of the infectious disease outbreaks, HAIs, hospital acquired illnesses, were actually coming from the patient rooms, which is quite interesting. And copper would kill MRSA and everything else within about 5 to 7 minutes, where they could live on stainless steel for months.
Right. Yes. And it's something so simple that most of us take for granted and haven't been taught. And I think that's the biggest disadvantage is for the general public is they haven't been educated and they have no idea of the benefits that's right around them all day, every day. And it's very simple to get into and to use these products. Um, there's something else I'd like you to touch on too is the plasma water.
Mhm. Got the
I forgot
vials.
the yeah,
Do you have
that
that at the house? Do you have plasma
no,
water?
I don't have that yet, but
Okay,
that's something
I'm gonna send some to you because I've got some here and I can send some out to you. But the plasma energy water, in order to dig into that, you have to understand, first of all, water is like crystals. It's amazing. It can store memory, it can store energy, and we can transform the molecular structure of water with our thoughts. But there's a process, and I believe it was started by the scientist, real famous guy, and I'll think of his name, but he basically figured out that there was a process where you could infuse the energy. Well, actually, back in the 20s, they were doing it. There was another scientist, a German, and I'll think of his name in a minute as well. I'm drawing blanks on both of them, but he was basically using the centripetal funnel system to infuse energy into the water.
to the water.
Schoenberger.
Schomburg, yeah.
Yeah, and so,
Yes,
and then, yeah, and that technology was developed back in the 20s. But once you charge the water, it retains memory and it can hold on to it. So you have these little tiny vials, and all you do is attach them onto a larger water source. I mean, you could technically do it with this. Now I've got spirulina dumped in here that doesn't look so good, but you could put it, the best thing to do is to put it on the side of a pitcher and let it sit for overnight. And then the whole pitcher will, and
it's
that little
strong.
vial will charge water for the rest of your adult life. So you buy these little vials for $200. They have different energies and other things infused in them. And then you just drink that charged energy water and put it in your coffee, tea, and whatever. Terahertz it, put it on your head, but we've also got that on the website. We actually have a new website as well, Kirk. It's healthylifetechnology.com.
Right.
And
I
yeah, because
forgot about
USA
that.
MedBed just got, when we first started, we had like 10 products. I think right now we're close to 200. So we
Wow.
needed to find a better place to showcase everything. And we still have USA MedBed, but the plasma energy water has always been a top seller. It's very inexpensive. You buy one vial, charge the water, and then the water in that container has the same energy as the vial, and then you can pour it into little vials and give it out to friends and they can charge their water.
Right. And Sean, I'd like to touch on that for a second. That most people don't understand what you mean by water has memory, and um, what we're talking about is whether it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in Louisiana, Texas, Hawaii, your water source when you pull up water from the ground, it has thousands of minerals and elements within that water cell. Okay. And that water contains all of these elements, but it's kind of like it's kind of like a, a a a cell or a water cell within another cell, but it's locked. Now, when you take this specially charged water, that takes quite a while to charge this water. Um, but when the water is charged, it releases all of these beneficial elements and minerals back to where when you drink it, now it's absorbed into your tissue. But until you unlock this water by charging it, uh, when you drink water, you're not getting these vital elements or minerals. It just passes right through your body.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to bring up this this special water, because that, like I said, it's about $100 or 120 for a vial. I know it's all, but it's as you said, you buy this one little bottle and it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you can bless people by, like I said, you charge one larger bottle and you buy a bunch of little bottles, you fill them out, you can pass these out to people, and they have something to help charge their water sources.
Yeah.
And that's very important. It's understanding what it means to have water charged and releasing all of these elements and minerals that benefit your body that you're not getting from, tap water.
Hmm.
Because when you drink tap water, it has chlorine, chloramine, fluorine. These chemicals in that water slowly kill you. And what people don't realize is drinking the city tap waters with all the chlorine, fluorine, and fluoride, it it interferes with your cell's ability to absorb minerals. Like even if you're taking a vitamin, people take vitamins every day, but you're drinking this tap water that's got all these chlorine, fluorine, and fluoride. Uh, half the vitamin that you took, half of it is not absorbed into your cells,
Hmm.
and it gets flushed right out of your body. So that's something very important to understand.
Hmm.
So yeah, and uh, I was thinking about your the copper coils. Um, I was thinking about formers, like as you was talking about, and I'm going to do a little drawing and try to send it to you, and have you send this to the people who are making the coils, the copper coils that you
Hmm.
showed.
Hmm.
I would like to start making something that we can attach to like a 55-gallon drum,
Oh,
or
yeah.
but this drum will probably have to be like a clear plexiglass type, to where light could penetrate through it
Hmm.
to help benefit the water. But I want to make like a coil that would wrap within the inside of the barrel, and to help charge it. So with the copper.
There is a product now that's made by the guys that I work with that is 100% made to charge the water 100% for agriculture, so it can be done on a massive scale.
Oh,
And if you're a farmer out there, when you charge the water and you start implementing some of this technology into agriculture, there's a lot of data that shows that it really does help expand and enhance the time it takes to grow. It really helps speed up the growth process, and the plants are healthier, thicker, and that's very well documented. But it's not a very complicated premise that if you provide various types of energy fields and charge water and do certain things, that it's advantageous to the plant life. And like I said, that's anybody wants to do research and start out, go look up Walter Russell. And these guys were doing this in the 20s and 30s. I don't know where that technology went, if it ever, I don't, I know it's still big in Europe. I know there's places in Europe and different parts of the world where they are really actually using it. In the United States, I don't know, but if you're listening to this and you want to learn more, you could start digging in there. And there's a lot of science behind it. And
Yes,
contact us
yes,
as well.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, because your water, as you said, when you start giving your plants this water that's been charged and treated like this, the plant is going to have a stronger, faster growth rate, and it will be able to withstand heat and cold temperatures and even pests attacking it much better.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
What's wrong?
What
Yeah.
a great
Well,
call
this was
today, Kirk, man. It's like a reunion catching back up with you. And,
yeah.
for all the listeners that are out there, Kirk, I always tell people I do like to understand the technology and I do like to explain what the technology does and sort of how it works. But I do think that it comes down to the individual person like yourself that said, you know what? I'm at the point right now where I'm willing to try just about anything. And I feel like these stories with actual people like yourself that have used the technology, that have gotten the benefit from it, ultimately, that's really all that matters. And, like I said earlier, man, I, you know, I'm so happy to see you, number one. Number two, I'm glad we can reconnect and we'll talk some more after the call in the next day or two. And I want to send some more stuff your way. But I'm so happy to see you, man, back again. And you look good, you're laughing, you're smiling. Like that to me is a testament that, you know, all the time and effort and everything we do, it's all worth it, man. And so thank you once again for being here, being you, helping others. I know you work with a lot of other people that have muscular dystrophy, and you're a rock in the church and a leader in your church. And there's just so many other good things and so many good qualities, and the world needs more people like you. So thank you, man, for everything you're doing to make this world a better place as well.
Well, thank you, Sean. But and I also want to thank you too for, like I said, the finding the technology. You were the main go-to source I found here. You're the only person I could find after scouring the internet for months for this technology, and I'm so grateful that you've done so much for developing this health and wellness center to help people and bring all these so many different products for us to be able to use. And that's absolutely a great benefit. So please mention that your new website again.
It's a healthy life technology. And what I'll do is I'll probably put it down below here underneath our screen so people can see it. And then you can always find it in the comment section and or the description of the video if you're listening to this and you want to try to find a place where it's at. But we've got a lot of stuff on there. If you sign up, we got promo codes to get you discounts, and we're always adding more stuff. Like I said, we've got a whole new generation of Terahertz Wands coming out, which is very exciting. We've got a lot of really neat nutritional stuff that's going to be coming soon. We're working with some real leaders in the industry with technology referred to as peptides, and
Right,
a lot of great inventors, a lot of great inventions. People that are working on new technology are coming to us to say, help us get the word out on what we're doing. And we let the people tell their story. We let the scientists and the inventors and all the people that are making a lot of this stuff tell their story, let us know how it works. And, so for us, I think we're making great strides. There's definitely a shift, in the consciousness of people now, and they're open to looking at energy and frequency based, alternatives and
right.
integrating that into lifestyle. And it's about maintaining good health. It's not always, being in real bad pain. You can use a lot of this technology like I do just to maintain good health. So, with all that being said, we're living in a very exciting time right now.
Amen, amen. So yeah, so we'll end the call with that, I guess. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if anybody has interest in these products, please call Sean and check out his new website. because there's so much technology out there that can help benefit and to help you and your whole family. So give him a call and check out his website.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Kirk. Well, take care, man. Stay with me here for just a second. I'll let you go and we'll be right back. But thank you everybody for watching. If you like the video, you like the content, subscribe and share, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right.